public, make sure you
It's just easier to do it from an office.
For sure.
Did you do anything fun?
No, just kind of hanging out.
Yeah,
Nothing crazy.
same here. Brandon, kind of boring background.
I got to get a new one. I haven't even had time to change it up, man. I got some ideas though. I'm working on it.
Yeah,
You
I
got
like
a new little background now.
the painting. I like your video emails.
Yeah, try to have fun, right? I mean, it's like we can't really leave the way we like to. It's like we turn into little actors or comedians or whatever we are via video and social.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, Kelly.
Kelly.
Hi.
I like it's. Does anyone know what the Magic Garden was? Let's see. He's old enough.
No, I know. What movie was that? Was that
was
from a movie?
The TV show back in the
Yeah.
when they used to, like, you know, I see Brandon and Kelly and
Oh yeah.
and Josh and all.
Oh, right. I'm still used.
Didn't they hold up like some kind of magnifying glass or something?
Yeah, I mean, they were just, I think, high on something, but
Totally.
Good to see you, Kelly.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Josh.
Happy New Year, Brandon.
Yeah.
How are you? And is that
Good, man.
Tatiana?
What was that?
I see Tatiana there. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Yes.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Tatiana.
Welcome
How
back.
are you?
I haven't seen you.
I know.
It's good to
Soon
see
enough.
you.
Well,
Awesome,
not
Josh.
soon enough, but soon.
Yeah. How are you, Josh? Happy New Year, everybody.
Great. Thank you.
Blake, wrong holiday. We need like some New Year's thing, not a.
Let's see.
How about a top hat? Huh? That's
There we go.
now you look like a rabbi.
That's what I was going for. Actually. So works out.
He's like a hip hop rabbi. I like the way New Year's was this year because it was during the week, so we had the weekend latched onto it. Because you remember, you know, just a few years back, we're rushing from New Year's Day just to work with only a day in between. But this was a good one.
Yeah. And New Year's is so overrated anyway. So
Oh, totally.
perfect excuse to stay home anyway.
Yeah.
It was a dud of a new year on purpose.
Yeah, and you get to watch it twice. You know, if you watch CNN or any of the shows, they start there at like 9 o'clock. So for New York, so you're basically doing New Year's twice.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the ball drop at 9 New York time, which was very underwhelming, like it was supposed to be. And then it was lights out, you know?
Crazy year. We're on to a new one. Good to see a lot of some familiar faces that I've seen a lot of and some that I haven't seen in a while. So I'm glad to have everyone here. We'll wait another like 2 minutes and then we'll get started. First town hall of the new year. So great things lie ahead. Hope everyone had a fantastic holiday. Spent whatever time you were able to with friends and family. Also just want to acknowledge, I will say it's definitely struck me, and you guys know me well enough that I'm always very optimistic, but there's definitely been a lot of loss. Like it's like I've never seen anything like it. So I do want to just acknowledge that for those that have experienced some loss in their lives and their world. So
Good point. I think that's why everyone's so excited for a new year.
yes,
Yes, exactly.
yep,
I mean, it can only get better.
yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've got a great, some great special guests at the end, and yeah, I'm always remain optimistic. I also will say for anyone watch my video that I put out, I think maybe last week, just it definitely was a year of character building and resilience, and hopefully a lot of new skills that have been developed that, we were willing and able to adapt. And I think that will serve us all very well this year and beyond. So I'm always looking for the silver lining and everything. And I think there was plenty of that. So I hope everyone else feels the same.
I mean, I mentioned this on our ALC call, how even though we were in such a, terrible situation pandemic wise and couldn't go, work traditionally, I mean, real estate business as a whole is, luckily we were allowed to continue on working. And, people, maybe you weren't making as much money as you might have in years past, but people were doing well. And just knock on wood that we're able to continue doing that.
And to Michael's point, thank you for saying that, Michael, which is spot on. I mean, that's not the case with everyone. I mean, how many businesses have suffered dramatically and or don't exist anymore? So
just look outside the office window.
Yeah, bingo. And just, be grateful that, our business is still very, very robust. So with that said, take advantage of it and get your unfair share.
Do it safely.
Great point. Say that again?
Do it safely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. All right, so we'll get started. And again, welcome. Glad to have a great group here. Excited for what lies ahead. Obviously, I'm a huge proponent of collaboration and connecting great people. I think you guys have heard the statement, environment matters. And that is something that matters a lot to me. And that's all a function of the people we choose to surround ourselves with. So choose wisely and be around people that are willing to share and collaborate, and recognizing that none of us is as smart as all of us. And, together we all accomplish more. And I firmly believe that. And I'm extremely purposeful about trying to create that here. And I think we've come a long, long way. And we're going to continue to raise that bar of collaboration and achievement and growth and development. So I created a couple slides. I always do a little piece on sort of mindset and being purposeful. And yeah, Blake, thank you. So very simple statement. And I firmly believe it. Happiness is progress. We're happy when we feel like we're growing, evolving, and improving, right? And my question for all of you guys is, how do we become more purposeful about improving, about growing, about achieving, right? And I really encourage you all to think about that. And I'm going to throw out a couple more slides that some things that I think can really help in that context. So in our power session yesterday, and again, we do these power sessions every Monday and Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. And I really encourage people that don't participate to try and see what it's about, because they may be pleasantly surprised on what kind of value it delivers. And it's extremely collaborative, and it's all about mindset and really helping us all, quite frankly, progress and achieve at a higher level. So progress is time times intensity. It's pretty straightforward, right? You improve by spending time on something, and then your intensity is a function of how focused you are in that particular activity, right? And I think about this in a different context. Time is about working hard, right? And I'm a big believer in working hard, right? Work ethic, we talk about it all the time. I would say I'm even a bigger believer in working smart. And intensity and focus and clarity is how you work smarter, right? So it's task over time, but also how efficient and effective you are in what you're doing. And a big part of that is like, and we'll elaborate on this in a moment, is like how do you set yourself up to succeed? How do you create an environment that allows you to be extremely focused and intense and purposeful, right? And the other, what I wrote there, time is capped, right? We all have limited time, right? But intensity, I would argue, is uncapped. Like, how smart can you be with your time, right? And there's always room for improvement on that. The time piece, again, is limited, but the intensity piece is limitless. So I think focusing on the intensity piece is really the key to success. Before I move to the next slide, any questions or comments on this?
I think, Josh, it speaks to having a plan and just kind of sticking to it, you know, and knowing what you're going to do when moving forward.
Absolutely. Spot on,
It
Howard.
kind of-
Agreed.
It reinforces, don't focus on the result, focus on what you're going to do to get there. And again, I know the environment matters piece works on so many levels, but now that we're all working from home and have been for a while, it really speaks directly to just our workspace. You know, I don't know if you can hear, but my neighbor is knocking down trees in the background, and they've been sawing and whatnot for the past 48 hours. And it's been really loud and hard to make phone calls, but you have to just kind of create your space where, you know, you're not going on Facebook, or you're not doing this, you're not doing that. You're just focused on what the plan is. So.
Absolutely. Build your bunker, and I'll get into that in a second, but you're spot on with the plan, guys, and embrace the process. The process is the plan, right? So go to the next slide, Blake, if you don't mind. So create smart goals, right? So it starts with creating goals, right? And what, you know, SMART goals, I use this term all the time. It's not something I've created, but I'm a big believer in it. Specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound, right? Do you have SMART goals, right? And then to Howie's point, the next piece is, do you have a plan that really details the activities that are going to create the reality and the fruition of achieving these goals, right? Specific, something that you can, again, measure, right? It's detailed, it allows you to be held accountable to it, right? It's action-oriented, so it's about detailing the activities. It's realistic. I always say aggressively realistic. You're stretching yourself, so it's not a slam dunk, but it's realistic enough that it's attainable, because if it's not, then sometimes it can actually, you know, be counterproductive and defeat you, and then you no longer pay attention to it if it's not realistic. And then I would argue maybe the most important piece is time bound, meaning there's a by when date. Huge believer in a goal without a by when date becomes arguably meaningless, because that creates urgency, and it creates accountability, and it drives action. So make sure your goals are crystal clear and they're SMART goals. And then if you move to the next slide, Blake, right, coming back to Howie's point about the plan, you know, the plan details the activities that are going to drive the fruition of the goals, right? Do you know what those key activities are? Focus on the right activities that give you the greatest, as I call, ROE, the return on your effort, right? And some activities are far more effective than others, right? And I detailed the key activities for us in our business, right? It's really simple, right? Again, the 80-20 principle means that there's a disproportionate return on your effort in certain activities versus others, right? So 20% of the things you do give you 80% of your results. So the key is remaining really focused on the 20%, right? And not all the extraneous things that are really busy but not purposeful, that don't drive results. And for us, it's real simple. It's lead generation, which is ultimately designed to get an appointment. And then when you're at the appointment, your ability to convert, right? And having your scripts and objection handling and having the right, you know, materials and to present to someone, especially if it's a listing appointment, and then your ability to negotiate and ultimately close the deal. Don't overcomplicate it, guys. It's all about simplicity. Simplicity and clarity go hand in hand. So what are your 20%? Are they detailed? Are you spending your time in those 20%? Does your calendar and your schedule reflect your 20%? And if it doesn't, then ask for help. As I say all the time, you know, asking for help is a sign of strength. And there's plenty of help to go around here. And there's plenty of resources and tools. So if you're not using them, that's on you. You got to take responsibility for that. And any thoughts or questions on this? No one? Come on. Someone speak up. Blake.
I have a question.
Yeah, Kelly, go ahead.
So I door knock for lead gen, and I call my sphere, but for 16 years, I always door knock. And so since last March, I haven't knocked on any doors. And I did okay this year because I door knocked like a mad woman in 2019. And so now I'm like freaking out about 2021. Like, am I gonna, what's it gonna be like? Because all I did was dump a lot of money onto advertising online, and I did call my sphere. I called my sphere for three months, and I called people I didn't know. I just went through and called everybody in my database, and I set them up on the smart plans. So now I'm like calling people, and I usually have something to say, like, hey, I'm doing a community event, a paper shredding, and I invite 60 people. I mean, I have things to do, but now I don't know what to say to anybody, because usually at the door, I have the flyer with information, and they can just yell out the window like, oh, hi, Kelly, just leave it there. And then they call me like, oh, I forgot to ask you, we need a plumber, blah, blah, blah. So I'm having all these great interactions, and now I'm kind of at a loss, because I for some reason feel like it's less intrusive to knock on someone's door than it is to call them. I don't know why, but for some reason in my mind, I've made it like when someone answers the phone and I can't see their face, I think is why. Because when I'm at the door, I can see their face. I can tell immediately if they're mad, or if they're in the middle of something, or if they're super happy to see me because their face lights up.
Sure.
So I can't see, and I'm not good at reading people's voices. So I'm still making the calls, but I'm like almost throwing up while it's ringing. I'm like, oh, like, please, God, let it go to the answering machine. Which when I'm knocking on a door, I'm like, I hope they open the door, and I don't care if they're bad, or it's just
Who
a whole
wants
different
to provide? I mean, I have my thoughts, but I'll defer to anyone want to. Robert,
I would say, Kelly, you have a wonderful, bubbly, powerful, lucky voice. Use that voice. Most agents are going to say door knocking's harder than phone calls. You've reversed it. Just for the next 6 months, just stay intense with phone calls and have fun with it. It's true. It's much more powerful to see a person's face and to read them and to pivot. But we're just minus the visuals all. And you know this, and you know you're great, and you know you bring that bubbly character forward, and these guys can't resist you. I would just remind yourself, whether it's a mirror when you're calling, to smile and bring that bubbliness forward, and you'll close more deals. You'll get more appointments.
And what should I talk about? Should I just ask them if they want to hear an update on the market, since I can't hand out flyers, or talk about the new props?
There's many things you could talk about. You could say, hey, look, I'm just updating you what just sold down the block, whether you sold it or not. They love that stuff. And then they'll segue many other places. You could talk about the economy. You could talk about where the market is in that zip code or that neighborhood specifically. People like that data, and they like it coming from an expert. So it could be anything. I mean, I even thought maybe if you have a good rapport with paper shredders, you say, hey, look, put a bag out front. I'll pick it up and I'll shred it for you. So you can still do things like that you were doing before and stay in that same theme. It's just pivoting a little bit. And bless you for all the door knocking you've been doing, because you're way ahead of me in that one location, that one place.
I have a comment, and I think
Gary,
that
fire away.
you do have a really great voice and everything like that. I think everything is just our own limiting beliefs. But I think what Josh is going to present today with the Renew program, it's going to blow a lot of your clients away. So I really believe in this program. I'm doubling down. I'm spending a lot of money doing a lot of different things. So I think you'd be very excited about this new program that Josh is bringing up, and it's something that you can call home about and just tell everyone about, because I just want to get out there, and I made videos about it already. I think you'll be really excited about it. So
yeah, I mean, like, to both Robert and Gary's point, have a piece of value. And that could there's an infinite number of things that could consist of, whether it's neighborhood data, whether it's a program like Gary said, whatever that resonates to you, just have something to come to them with that you believe they'd be interested in. And then it will naturally take its own course. So and Kelly, it is a limiting belief. The reality is this: all of a sudden you start to get some results with those phone calls, and your attitude will change real quickly. I promise you. You start to see some positive results. And that's just a function of task over time, pure and simple, like really. And focus on what you can control. Right now, door knocking's not really an option. So don't spend time worrying about that. Like, you can't control that. You can make phone calls. So make those phone calls, come with some sort of piece of value and information, and let it happen organically from there. You're great at that. You're natural. You care. Come from curiosity. Come from contribution, and just do it consistently with repetition, and it will result in results. It will yield results. I promise you. But you got to have the positive attitude. People can feel that. They can sense that even on the phone. And if you feel like, I can't wait to get off this call, believe me, they're going to feel that. So
I don't feel like that once I'm on the call.
right.
It's because if people want to engage, they want to engage. If they're
Yep.
busy, they're busy. It's just that I'm worried that I'm going to bother people.
Yeah, no, that's a limit. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's a limiting belief. Like, if you got to believe in yourself, you know you're coming with values. There are plenty of people out there that want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. You're just simply trying to find and identify who they are, and that you're going to be the vehicle for their success.
Yeah.
So you got to believe in yourself, and I know you do. So that's very much a limiting belief, Kelly. Believe me, they know. They get to know Kelly. If they don't know you already, they know you care. They know you're going to help them get what they want. So don't, it's a limiting belief, pure and simple.
Yeah,
Hey,
I completely, if I can jump in real quick. I mean, we call this kind of like shopping out of our own pocket. I mean, once you're in the idea that it's sales, then that becomes like a restrictor in your mind.
Yep.
And I definitely feel a lot in terms of like what Josh is saying, where you are the vehicle to that. And when you have that purpose to say, this is what I'm here to offer, it may not be for everyone, and calling it has a stigma to it, but we can break that internal stigma and recognize ourselves as that vehicle. I feel we approach that conversation a little bit differently and not like shopping out of our own pocket.
Yeah.
Well said.
Kelly, I made a phone call this morning. Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
You definitely got to be the way Josh is. I made a phone call this morning and I just said straight out, hi, checking in. And I want to know what your real estate plans are this year. I said a lot of people are not sure what they want to do. So I'm checking in with them to see if they're thinking of, if you're thinking of selling. I have a listing appointment tomorrow from that call, and it's over a $2 million listing. So when you just be confident and definitely just, you're genuine, check in with them. And this is how you're doing it. Tell them there's no more opportunity. I don't have the opportunity of meeting you in an open house. And I love what I do. And I'm just calling everyone because I still want to do what I do and how I do it best. And you'll be just real in yourself and you will get calls through and you'll get a call through to them and you will get appointments.
Well
Thank
said.
you.
Awesome.
I mean, if you already think that people are going to be mad at you, which you expect when you open up the door, just have that same, take it that same direction. And then if they're nice, I think.
And you're pleasantly surprised, right? So, yep.
I don't know. I feel like I have a defense that when they open up the door, if they're in a bad mood, they can see me and see that it's not like upsetting me. And I'm like, so sorry. Have a great day. And I leave and it doesn't bother me at all. But for some reason on the phone, if someone is like, oh, I'm busy, but which no one has ever done. No one's ever yelled at me.
You're creating stories in your own mind, Kelly.
I know. I'm like,
Or FaceTime people. People don't expect that. And if somebody answers a FaceTime, that means that they're okay to speak and you can see what they're doing. I've
oh
done
my
it
God,
with
that's
clients.
brilliant.
Yep.
I've done FaceTime. So
I should just only FaceTime people.
All right, we're going to get back on track here. Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys for all the participation. So the last slide here is, Blake, we talked about the what, the where, and the when, right? The what is what we just described, the 20%. What are the key activities that we should all be focused on? We just went through that. The where, and we talked about this earlier with Howie, build your bunker, as Gary Keller would say. Whatever that looks like for you guys, and everyone's unique in that. They have their own unique, right now it's typically going to be somewhere at home, although there are still plenty of people in the office, but whatever that looks like for you guys, create an environment that limits distractions, right? Where you're efficient and you've got you've got snacks, you've got whatever, so you can create sustainability. and you can be effective at what you're doing. And that's likely making phone calls or getting on Zoom calls, whatever the case may be. Build that bunker, build that environment that allows you to be effective, right? And then the when is typically get the most important, like first things first. The statement, first things first, second things not at all. But the point being, do the things that are most important early in the day, right? It's real common sense for the most part. It's when your energy is highest, and it's when you're much less likely to be susceptible to distractions, right? Because we're in a service business and we tend to operate from a reactive mode. And I think you're far more able and efficient in being proactive earlier in the day. And then you can allow yourself to be somewhat reactive later in the day when you've taken care of your priorities, which are the things we talked about, which is the prospecting and the lead generating piece. So I think these are really good principles to live by, and make sure they're reflected in your schedule, in your calendar. If you don't have a plan and it's not reflected in your calendar, then you're not operating at maximum efficiency. I always say to people, I can look at your calendar and tell you how effective you are. And I really believe that. And that's all a choice, guys. It's all a choice. The resources are there for you. It's up to you to apply them. Justin, any words of wisdom from our Director of Productivity?
Well, just to add on, Kelly, I'm actually teaching a class this Thursday at 10 a.m. about how to effectively cold call and convert leads. So I can guarantee you by the end of that class, you will have a totally different mindset about calling strangers. Yeah, I mean, Josh said everything that was really spot on. Having a schedule that works for us is a critical driver for our business, putting our strengths forward, understanding that right now in this state of real estate, there's no better time that has ever existed than to drive business. There's never been a time when people have worked less or are more empathetic when you can actually contact them and actually create meaningful conversations. There's never been a better time in real estate history where we have the most amount of tools, technology, and resources at our disposal. There's never been a time like this ever. It's amazing. So I would just encourage everybody to be really curious about what's going on in the marketplace. And there are so many ways that we can take advantage of what's right in front of us, not only internally with the resources and the leadership through Josh and Michael and the ALC, but also just of what is around. I mean, you go on YouTube, you can learn what people are doing and become educated if you have a spare 20 minutes in your day. It's all there for us. And I'm telling you, this is the greatest time ever to be in real estate.
You could do new buyer seminars on Zoom, just set that up a couple weeks in advance and, do it on a Saturday morning or Sunday morning.
There's a million things, Facebook Lives, the live open houses, podcasts, doing text messaging, marketing, doing, all of the different resources that are there for us. Don't go across the board and do everything, because then you'll kind of be limiting your reach. But pick a few that you can really commit to and where your strengths really lie, and really go for it. I mean, the trends that are happening right now, we know it's all going to be video. So if you have some real ambivalence about being in front of the camera, get in front of the mirror first and try it and have a script. And we all know once we have a script down, we can really put our voice to it and it becomes totally natural to us. So that's probably my biggest prescription for this year of getting really comfortable with video, with everything, even just sending video messages to people rather than an email message back. So that's something that's really big.
Yep. And guys,
I could go on and on.
Yeah, and be proactive. Don't wait for things to happen, right? They're not going to fall in your lap. There is tremendous opportunity, but it comes to those that go after it, that have the will to take action and step out of their comfort zone. Like, it's not going to always be comfortable. In fact, it most likely will not. And that's okay. And that's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you progress. That's what it's all about, guys. And be around people that are supportive, that are not judgmental, that respect your willingness to do what it takes to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be doing our role play sessions where people can feel completely safe about, how to handle objections. And we're going to go at it, for an hour straight, at least once a week, but maybe twice, where you can get all of your anxiety out and also really know that we'll create some fantastic resources that you can use with your clients. Because that's the key. When we're going for listing presentations, the more prepared we are, the more we can walk in and have that right body language and be able to be comfortable and have our breathing be relaxed. And then we can really show who we are as people, because that's how sellers are going to hire us. It's not from the listing presentation that you bring. It's for what's coming out of your mouth and how you can build trust in that moment and how you can create that friendship and show that you care. So we're going to work on all that stuff in a very role play, intense, but very comfortable and safe environment.
And to Justin's point, the preparation just simply creates confidence, and people sense confidence. They want to work with someone they trust, that they believe is going to, as I said earlier, be the vehicle for their success. And that's a function of the confidence you exude. And you will do that in your own unique, authentic way. But that will come from being prepared. So the preparation piece is absolutely essential. All right, I'm going to plug a couple other quick things. We're starting our MREA book club, the Millionaire Real Estate Book Club, this Friday at 10 a.m. So that will happen for the next several weeks, every Friday for an hour at 10 a.m. And I think Alfredo, by the end of today, is going to send out an email detailing what pages are going to be covered week to week. So you guys, hopefully in advance, will read those sections, and then we will be going over them with the ALC. So I really, really encourage everyone to plug into that series. It's going to be amazing. I would argue that is the #1 book to read if there ever is one in real estate. So if you haven't read it, read it. And if you've read it already, read it again, because you will take something new from it every single time. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And that starts on Friday. And then again, the power sessions every Monday and Wednesday at 9 a.m. All right, so I'm going to turn to Michael, our broker of record. Michael, any things to share right now with us?
Yeah, so hi, Happy New Year, everyone. I've spoken to a lot of you over the last couple of weeks, which obviously makes me believe that a lot of people are working, which is really nice. I want to make sure coronavirus, still here in 2021. So obviously no open houses, showings virtually, if not virtually, then by appointment, and limited now to 2 buyers and an agent at one time. Remember, masks, of course, and you have to clean, if you're showing a property, you have to clean and disinfect in between showings. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. And people keep asking me, can we drop off flyers at homes? CAR says no. So I'm going to leave it up to you. There's nothing specific that says we can't drop off anything, but definitely no door knocking, they say. And the issue is real estate sales is what has been deemed an essential activity. So renting, buying and selling properties, not advertising a property or marketing yourself as an agent. So the door knocking, the dropping off flyers, they're not, they're saying that you shouldn't be doing it. I'll leave it up to you, since there's no specific order that says not to do that. TDS is another thing. So remember, section 1, there are 3 boxes. 1 has to be checked. Make sure if you are representing the seller, that at least 1 box gets checked. Do the last box, which basically just says that there's no substituted disclosures. We've had situations where if a form isn't checked, it's not considered complete. So you could have a shrewd buyer's agent, basically, who even after all contingencies might have been removed by a buyer, could request the seller check one of those boxes. And if, once that happens, that reinstates a buyer's 5-day right to cancel a contract. So you don't want that to happen, especially if you're the listing agent. So just make sure that 1 box is checked on the TDS. File review. I know everyone wants to get paid when a check comes in, but I got my job to do and I have to review files, and you have to make sure everything is complete so I can review it. And if you're not, the easiest way is to use Brian, our in-house TC, because once you do that, it doesn't require my automatic review, and checks can be released. So, but if you're using another TC or if you're doing it yourself, you can do it. It's not difficult. Just make sure all the files are there and everything is complete in order for you to get paid, for me to review the file. So just do that, and make sure everything. If you're doing a lease, make sure you split the documents appropriately. So there are checklists that correspond to a sale, a lease, if you're representing a buyer or seller, and there's forms and documents required for under each checklist. Make sure that there's only one file in that's uploaded, and not one big major file with everything in it. It's easier, and you can get paid a lot quicker. Lastly, I just want to tell you about a new law that came into effect January 1st. Jeff Kahn discussed it on the broker call before the holiday.
Michael, you're going in and out a little bit, or not,
Oh,
maybe get closer. I don't know how that's.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you the whole time, but it's like different levels of volume. Go ahead.
Sorry. I'll just really quick, there's the home fire hardening disclosure that went into effect. I sent an email out and I put it on the Facebook page about it. If you are selling a property that's in a high or very high fire hazard severity zone, which you can find out by looking at the natural hazard disclosure statement or report, you have to, the seller has to provide a disclosure, and that form is now on CAR, on Zip Forms, and it's the Home Fire Hardening Disclosure and Advisory. If you have questions, let me know, and I'll have more on our next week's broker call.
Awesome, Michael. Thank you. All right, we'll turn to our title guys quickly, and give us maybe a little bit of a broad perspective on the market and what they've seen and what they're seeing moving forward with Lauren and Brandon.
Sure.
Fantastic.
So, you jump in, Brandon. Is that okay?
Jump on in.
Okay. I think we're going to agree. And Kelly, I'm speaking to you. This is an easy sell right now. This is an easy sell this year. We have record high prices. We have record high demand, and we have record low inventory, and everybody knows it. So it's an easy sell. They're just looking for you to come along is all. You don't have to convince anybody this is the right time. If they're thinking about it, they already know it. So they're just happy that you're coming along. So that's the mindset. And the power session, Josh, Monday, Wednesdays, 9 o'clock, I can't say enough about them. It's all about that mindset. It helps me tremendously. I'm there every Monday, Wednesday. Wouldn't miss it. Okay, a couple things, guys. First of all, let me give you a stat to wrap your mind around, because I just spoke of record high demand and low inventory, but the inventory in LA County is really under $1 million. That's what's pushing up the numbers. So November, which is the last full month that we have statistics on, here's some stats for LA County in November. There were 5,758 closed sales in November, LA County, 5,758. Of that, 4,252 were under $1 million. That's 73%. 73% of all the sales that went down in November were under $1 million. So don't ignore the $600,000, the $700,000, the $800,000 sales. Those are bread and butter. Those are going on the market today and they're gone tomorrow. It's money in the bank. So that's where the money is right now. I know we all want to shoot for over that million. And what do you get for $1 million in LA County? Well, frankly, the LA County is huge and there's a lot of it. So don't ignore the under $1 million stuff. The second thing I want to say real quick is there's a lot of talk about Prop 19, and I don't want to rehash Prop 19. And yes, it is a vehicle for you to take mom and dad's property and keep their tax base if you're going to live in it. Okay, it supplants Prop 13. But the big picture I want you guys to think about is it does nothing for stepped up basis. So you may save a grand or so on mom and dad's house by putting title in your name before February 16th. You can have title in your name before February 16th, and you will get their tax base if you choose to live in that property. However, it's a ticking time bomb for taxes because the stepped up basis, when you go to sell that property, or heck, when your kids go to sell that property, that stepped up basis is huge money, huge money. So the forest between the trees, guys, don't just get caught up in the property taxes. The stepped up basis is the hidden tax bomb in Prop 19. Think about that. And lastly, Alyssa, you and I were talking to everybody about farming, about data, about research, about My First Dam. We're having online classes. So it's going to be a good, productive year. We're here for you, and we're going to rock and roll with you all the way through.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren. Great stuff. Brandon.
All right, guys. So along those lines, a couple of things to get excited about. The December statistics are not here yet, but we know in title, because we are real time, we know how good of a month any month will be. So just to let you know, December was a top 2 month for all of 2020. So we had October and December were the 2 best months. That includes openings and closings. So when has any year in real estate were we able to say to people, did you know December was a top 2 month in real estate in one of the hottest seller markets that we've ever experienced? So that is clearly an opening conversation for someone like Kelly, who's got a good voice. And we are just about a week or so away from all that information hitting the media. Because remember, public records, all the media outlets, they get it when everyone else gets it. So you guys are a step ahead knowing what to expect here about December. So get ahead of it, be ready, because people are gonna be scratching their heads saying, well, maybe I shouldn't wait till spring, March, which is the old traditional way of, selling your house and listing it. That spring could start now. And why not be the first to get that in their head? So we're gonna see a lot of momentum following that December, which is great news. Expect those stats from all your title partners. We're really good at putting customized stats for you, for your farm, your area, for all of LA County, whatever you want. And then secondly, on Prop 19, guys, just because it starts April 1st does not mean that your would-be sellers can buy now. So do your active pro marketing, get them to start thinking, well, where should I relocate? Do I want to move out of LA because having my family here in the public school system is not very promising right now, whereas in Orange County, in Ventura, it's a little more promising. And I'm telling you that from a parent with little ones, the way parents are thinking right now. So start helping them find out their next move, because April 1 is when they have to close their house. So as long as they sell their house and close it after April 1, they can take that property tax base with them to the house maybe that you're going to help them buy before April 1. So get the replacement house now, then let them qualify after April 1, and everything will fully be taken advantage of using Prop 19. So lots of information, just like Lauren was saying, and this is just the beginning. I really do think it's going to be a very great, promising year, and we're going to see it this month. I know it. So stay active, guys.
Brandon, I'm sorry. Can you repeat what you just said about the April? I'm sorry.
No problem. So we've had multiple classes, seminars, conversations about Prop 19. So it takes effect April 1 of this year. So any property that you close then actually would qualify for Prop 19 if you meet all the other guidelines, which is 55 and older, primary residence, and you can take your tax base anywhere up and down California. So.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Brandon. Great stuff. And
No
Brandon,
problem.
Go ahead, Marcia, and then I'll go.
I'm sorry. So as an SRES, I just wanted to comment that if they're staying within LA or the counties that are working with LA under Prop 6090, they can do that now.
Well, yes, they can, but Prop 19, so instead of selling now, most people would probably want to wait until after April to take full advantage of 19, but they can still buy now before the April 1 and then wait. And then once they close the sale of their longtime home, then they can transfer that tax base to the new home they just bought. So get ahead of it by helping them find a house now, and then transfer and sell their house later after April 1. So you don't have to wait until April 1 is what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah.
Great stuff. And Brandon's point about how robust December was, which you'll see next team meeting when I share with you our results. And it has been an absolutely phenomenal month and a very, very strong year. That's great information to create. What may seem obvious to us is not necessarily obvious to our clients. So keep that in mind. So bring information that creates urgency, that helps them create clarity to make decisions, right? And that's a big piece of very basic information. Again, basic to us, maybe not so basic to them, especially in a world where we're living in a pandemic where, people appearances are often different than reality. So a lot, obviously a lot of businesses out of business, all this, but we're having an extremely robust year, or had, in a month. A lot of people don't necessarily know that. So you've got to be that person that provides that information that's relevant to them. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Hey, May, I want to turn to you quickly, if you don't mind. May's our in-house lender, Movement Mortgage. She's amazing. Anything that you'd like to share with the group on the lending front?
Like your title people had mentioned, the business has been booming. We are extremely busy on the purchase transaction, on the refi transaction. It's insane. So I'm still working from home, so you guys can always reach me via email or phone call. Rates are amazing. I mean, I've locked a lot of loan at 2.5%, 2.25%, 2% if need to, depending on how much a client wants to pay in points. Jumbo product is amazing. I just locked one at 2.75. So the market is really strong. And if this is not the time to buy, I don't know when it would be. It's just interest rate is so low. You can't put your money in the bank and make 2.5% on it. So find properties, sell homes, business is great. Qualification is still the same. Nothing has changed. We still want to have a good qualified customer with good credit. The better the FICO, the better the rate. The better the down payment, the better the rate. Just keep that in mind. And I'm here to answer any question if there's any.
Thank you, May. You're awesome. I'm going to ask everyone to be very brief and concise because we're running behind on wants and needs. So if it's anything that's really critical that you want to share, raise your hand and let's go through this quickly. Anyone? Howie, you're up.
So, hey, Happy New Year, everybody. I have a new property coming up in Encino. It's brand new construction. We're going to be coming on at just under 14 million at 13,995. The whole house is about 13,000 square feet. That includes a 2-story detached guest house, completely private down a long driveway. So you literally can't see the house from the street. So if you have any buyers that are, need that type of thing, this is a great brand new house. 8 bedrooms, 11 baths. It's got all the bells and whistles. It's got a theater. It's got a rooftop patio on top of the entire home with great views, elevator, pool, spa. It's got half a basketball court, and very, very private. So I'll have pictures in about a week or so, coming on the market in about 2 weeks, but I can show it if you have anybody that it might be right for. And then real quickly, also in Encino, I have 2 leases coming back on the market. These homes are 4 years old. They're modern, contemporary, 4 bedrooms, 5 baths, just under 4,000 square feet. One will be listed for $10,000 a month, the other for $10,500. I've got pictures available now. So if anybody's interested, let me know.
Great work, Howie. Awesome.
Howie, sorry, the price for the Encino home, how much was it? The price?
13,995.
All right, thank you.
You're almost catching Malibu.
Yeah, exactly.
Who else? Robert, you're up.
I have a penthouse on 132 South Crescent in Beverly Hills for $2.5 million. It's a 3-bedroom. It was the first penthouse bought in the building, so it has the best location. The owner wants it sold this week. So if you guys got someone looking for a penthouse with a rooftop access, and it has its like 4th bathroom up on the roof. So it has that indoor, outdoor COVID you want to be living. And again, the owner wants it sold. So bring us a fair offer and it will be yours. Also a new listing that's about 2,500 square foot house on a cul-de-sac in Studio City Hills. It'll be on the MLS in a few days. It's behind a wall, very private, and with a pool. That's going to come out at $1,895,000, 1 story in Carpenter School District. Then also a fixer project, a major project, comes with plans, a modern house for $3.7 million. It's 2 acres. The house is there, but you're going to tear it down and build this new project that is approved, with stunning views, a huge flat pad, and just privacy. 3.7 million.
Where's that, Robert?
That's up close to Mulholland, east of Coldwater Canyon. And that's it for me.
I'm on mute. Okay, thanks, Robert. You're awesome. Who's up next?
I can share quickly.
Kathy, go ahead, please.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. So I have a very cute loft for lease coming up in downtown LA in the best location, 5th and Broadway, for $1,500. A full amenity building with doorman, rooftop pool, and all of that. Also, we have painted and redone the 1634. Do I say the Benedict Canyon? The price has been lowered, and we also are going to put it back on the market for lease for $12,000. It's a 5-bedroom, 5-bath guest house, pool, single story, gorgeous. So take a look if you have anybody interested in leasing. The seller is considering that as well.
How much is the sale price, Kath?
We just reduced it to 3.7, but there is still room. So we may come back on the market a bit lower. So.
Got it. Thanks, Kath. You're awesome.
Okay.
Anyone else? Last call. Anybody?
I have
Tatiana.
Tatiana.
Hey
Hi,
there.
everybody. Hi. So some of you know I have an upcoming project that I've been working on for a few years, and it's probably going to come to market in February off of Mulholland Drive. Brand new construction, valley views, jetliner views, private, 10,400 square feet, 1,200 square foot car gallery, atrium, gorgeous 2,500 square foot deck space. If you're on Mulholland and you're driving past it, everybody has called me about it, noticed it, waiting for it to come to market. So it's going to be coming to market in February. I have renders. I have the project process if anybody wants to share it with their client. It's definitely a celebrity, private compound, and that'll be coming to market probably right under 16 million, 15,995. Unless, we have a higher demand when it comes out, we'll probably go up a little bit, but we're trying to remain competitive. Infinity pool, gorgeous house. And then I have a development opportunity on Benedict Canyon, Mulholland and Benedict. Approved plans, ready to issue 3.7 for a another compound right off of Benedict Canyon there for 3.7 million. The house is also about 11,000 square feet. So it'll be handed with permits to a developer and user buyer. I have all the renders and information on that property too. It's off market at this time, but I'll probably put it on the market end of January.
Awesome, Tatiana. Great stuff.
And by the way, the return on that property after you build it based on current comps, not taking into assumption when it's going to be completed, is an easy 16 million. Easy 16 million.
Tatiana, is that the one in the across from the one that we sold a couple of years ago, like the 3,000 block?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And we did have several offers when I had it on the market, but it was during COVID and all these developers were trying to undermine the pricing. So we pulled it off. We were waiting for the permits, but the city was slow, obviously, and we'll have it in our hands in about a month. So the price includes handing the project RTI approved by Mulholland Review Board and the city of LA.
Great work, Tatiana. Awesome.
Good job.
Anyone else? Last call.
Yeah, Josh, how you doing? It's
Hey,
Jonathan.
Jonathan. How are you, man?
Good, good. Nice to see you guys. I have something that's coming up. Finishing up on a project over in Silver Lake. It's going to be going for about 2.5 million. It's like a multi-level house. If some of you follow me on Instagram, LA Real Estate Pro, you can see all the work that's going on there. We're about 90% complete. We just put in a pool. It's really something special. There's not really many homes like it. It's about 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath. It's something special. You got to come take a look at it. And if anybody has any buyers in Silver Lake, drop me a line. You can reach me on Instagram.
Awesome, Jonathan. Great work, man. Anyone else?
Hey,
All right. Go ahead.
There's Oscar De La Renta.
I'm sorry, who's speaking? I can't tell. Was someone trying to say?
I think they were just unmuted.
Melissa
Okay, sorry.
was, yeah, Melissa was talking and then disappeared. So
Okay. Tiffany, did you have something or?
I have random things. I'm not very clear-headed. I am recovering from COVID. So if anyone has questions about that, I wasn't sick enough to
I hope you're
but
okay.
I'm okay, but still recovering. So I have things next week. So we'll talk about them then.
Okay.
But I do need a referral for an agent in Seattle. So if someone knows of a good agent in Seattle, I would take that.
And Tiffany, you can text me. I can probably help you with that.
Okay, we'll do.
Melissa, were you trying to say something or?
No, that was Tia. Sorry, you guys.
Okay. All right, last call and I'm moving forward. All right. I'm moving.
One last listing is one that's $1,595,000. It's on Carpenter Avenue. It's a 3-bedroom plus an office. You walk in, you walk up the hill and you walk into these very high ceilings. You just don't expect it to be this way. It's a great value. Of course, it's in Carpenter School District, south of Ventura in the Hills. It's priced aggressively at $1,595,000.
Awesome. Thanks, Robert. Big year ahead, man. All right, so I'm going to introduce our featured guests. In full transparency, we've pivoted a couple times on our concierge program. We're always trying to raise the bar, and we're continuously monitoring how well it's going. And we've sort of aligned ourselves with a new partner, and I'm going to introduce them momentarily. And I'm really, really excited about what we're doing with them and how this program is a little bit different than what we've been operating before. I know that's still very new to many of you guys. And that's a good thing because I think we finally found the right partner that's going to really help you guys create a lot more value in your businesses and present a really unique opportunity to your clients. And many of you heard what Gary Watt had said earlier. Gary's actually going to be our special guest 2 weeks from now. But Gary's been working very closely with our partners and has had some really, really favorable experience. So I want to introduce these guys. So if you guys can take yourselves off mute and I can see where everyone is. I think
Right
John and Dalip are there and Jessica. Dalip, am I pronouncing that
Hey.
right? Hey
You
there.
are, yeah.
Okay,
Happy
and
New Year,
Jessica, how are you?
everybody.
Thank you guys
Good.
for being here, and we're really excited about what we've been doing with you guys, and I want to introduce you more formally to the office and let you sort of take it from here and explain what you're providing in partnership with us.
Totally, absolutely. No, thank you. And we've been talking to you and your leadership there for the last what felt like 45 days. And I just felt like from the get-go, like all cylinders were firing in terms of how we've solved real estate concierge. You guys have tried it in a couple of different ways, and we're excited because we feel like we've thought of something new. And a lot of people gravitate towards the money when it comes to concierge of renovations being fronted. And we really focus on fronting the money, but also being a partner. And like our goal here is to allow homeowners to really like flip their home by leveraging our tools, our capital, our resources, so they don't have to like sell to that investor or iBuyer program. They can, monetarily benefit from selling their home. And we've come up with a couple different programs to actually to help that, to make that more possible for homeowners everywhere. But before I move forward, Josh, we kind of had a training scheduled because these programs, they're complex. I mean, everyone here surely will understand it, but what would be a failure if Kelly went out and said something on that cold call and we couldn't support that. So Josh, do we still have 15 minutes today?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool.
If you have screen share, if not, Alfredo or Blake will give it to you guys. Did you need that?
So Blake, you can go ahead and provide Jessica. She's our director of operations. She's going to take us through the training. That'll be fantastic.
And to Dalip's point, guys, and I'm sure they'll explain this, but to understanding it well, being able to communicate it and articulate it is paramount, right? So Revive is providing a really strong training platform from this as well. So they'll be on today.
Sure.
And our program, so everyone's clear, because I know it can be a little confusing, we've white labeled our program, Keller Williams Beverly Hills Renew. This happens to be a company called Revive, who's our partner in this, but the client-facing program is called Renew. That's our white glove concierge program, and Revive is our partner in that.
So before we start the training, Revive was really born about a year ago, formally established a year ago. And since we've pivoted and tried to make our process as seamless and, for an agent to come in and really adopt a partner, we really want to sit on the side as a consultative partner to provide guidance on renovations, match them with the right service provider, and of course, front to capital. So with that, I'm gonna let Jessica start the training. You guys are all going to receive an email where you'll be invited to create an account, a KW Renew account, and that's where you can actually conduct and manage your transactions. Now, in that email, there are some marketing resources that speaks to the program. This looks like listing presentations, social media graphics, and flyers, things that you guys can point at and put on your client's desk to really point at and look at to say, hey, this is kind of what our program is. And Kelly, this is definitely something that I feel is creative, innovative, unique. This is something that's going to really differentiate you guys from your competition. So with that, Jessica, if you want to go ahead and start the training, and then we'll open up some Q&A after.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Dalip, and thank you everyone for having us here. I'm going to jump right into it. So we are going to talk today about Revive, which again, you can say that is Refresh, powered by Revive. We're going to go through the process and then do some frequently asked questions. So let's go ahead and jump in. So Revive is a real estate services company that focuses on maximizing value and profit for your home sellers. Now, we really believe that innovation in the real estate industry is overdue, and we partner with homeowners to deliver value in new ways. So said simply, we invest in your client's profit. Now, we all know that selling a home is a huge life event. So we provide our own expertise, our capital, and our network to deliver the very best outcomes for homeowners. So this means less hassle and more profit for your sellers. So what makes Revive different than maybe some other concierge programs? So our objective is to be a true partner with you and with the homeowner. Our approach is modern and flexible. Our game-changing programs give homeowners a new scale of value. We focus on long-term relationships rather than just each transaction. We're always innovating. We're liking to disrupt common challenges in the home sales process, and we add profit and convenience to your homeowners. So what is this Revive Concierge program? Also Refresh. So as far as the core elements, Revive is going to help your homeowners in 4 ways. So professional guidance to provide our expertise on home renovation plans that will maximize a return on investment for your client. Next, you have access to our network of service providers and a bidding process to ensure quality, speed, and affordability for your clients. Revive manages and designs the project so that you, the agent, can focus on what you do best, and the homeowner can have a really stress-free experience.
And then the cherry on top of this is that Revive does front all of the costs associated with pre-sale home renovations, and there's no interest and no fees to your seller. We also offer the Home Concierge Plus, which is a no loss guarantee option. This is an optional program, but for qualified homeowners, Revive does offer a no loss guarantee option that ensures the home sellers recoup that renovation investment. And you can talk to a Revive expert to see if a home qualifies later on down the line. Now, who is this for? This program is for home sellers who understand that pre-sale renovations are going to maximize their profits, attract more buyers to their property, help them sell that property faster. And why concierge, right? So I think we all know that most homes could use some minor improvements before you put them on the market. Of course, you don't want to be risk being seen as a fixer-upper, because often those buyers that come in are going to overestimate what the improvements will cost. Maybe they're making their perceived value of the home lower than what the true value is. Now, I think we all know today's buyers are made up largely of millennials. These people are working, these buyers, they're working long hours. They spend a lot of their money on their down payments, and they're this HGTV generation. So turnkey homes are obviously getting greater attention. And in response, those homes are selling quicker and they're selling for more. Now, I want to quickly discuss the process. So the first thing you're going to want to do, determine if the home qualifies by ensuring your sellers have at least 20% equity in the property. And then what you do is you'll submit the property details on Revive's website to start the process. Our website is iloverevive.com. Then you will meet with a Revive expert for what we call a pro-to-pro call. And together you'll determine the scope of work and the budget that's going to help yield the highest ROI for your client. So this is a real deep dive. So you'll want to be prepared with any photos of the property, have your accurate comps ready. And the purpose of this call is for you and the Revive team to really be on the same page with your expectations and the plan that is going to be presented to your homeowner. Now, after that initial meeting, the renovation plan is put together, and the plan will highlight the numbers, the renovation scope, and the estimates. And then there's going to be a call with the homeowner to discuss that plan and finalize the plan. Now, once the homeowner is on board with the plan, then we just ask for some documents to verify their eligibility. So from you, we're going to need a preliminary title report and a copy of your listing agreement. From the homeowner, we collect a homeowner declaration, a statement of information, a mortgage statement if they have a mortgage, and an authorization to speak to their lender. We gather all those documents, and once they have been submitted and the equity has been verified, then we go ahead and provide you with an official approval to move forward with the program. Now, next, Revive collects bids from 3 licensed and insured independent service providers, one of those being a Revive preferred vendor, 2 being outside vendors. They can even be vendors that you or the homeowner recommend. This ensures competitive pricing for your homeowner. And then once the budget and scope is confirmed by the vendor, the homeowner reviews those numbers and confirms they want to proceed using the program. The homeowner will sign a renovation order form and any associated paperwork that they need to with the service provider, and then that work begins. Now witness the transformation. So once the work is completed, the homeowner will go ahead and sign off an acceptance of work. Revive issues payment directly and in full to the service provider. And then you can work your magic, prep that home and get it on the market. We do require the home be listed on the MLS and marketed to the public within 5 days, and it does need to stay on the market. And then you get it on the market and you get into escrow. Once you accept an offer and you open escrow, you'll go ahead and notify Revive, and then when escrow closes, the home improvements are reimbursed through escrow. And then your seller will enjoy the extra profit realized by using the Home Concierge program powered by Revive. Now, I want to go over a few frequently asked questions. We'll, of course, open it up for more questions at the end. But what are the eligibility requirements? So our goal is to help as many clients as possible. However, we do require that there is a minimum of 20% equity in the home to qualify. What kind of projects are we approving? So general rule of thumb is we're approving projects that in totality take less than 2 months. So think flooring, painting, staging, landscaping, and light remodeling. So nothing that requires major permits, no, major structural modifications, but anything that takes around 2 months, and we have no minimums or maximums. So, you could use this for something very simple, decluttering, staging, cleaning, or a full remodel. Now, how long does this process take? So planning and pre-approval typically takes about a week or less. And then the bidding and the actual renovation process takes on average 2 to 8 weeks, really depending on the scope of work. How is the money fronted secured? The service provider's contracts are going to be secured in this case by either a deed of trust or a UCC1 filing, depending on the size of the project. Of course, those are removed when the homeowner pays off the home improvement contract. And then when does the homeowner have to pay this money back? So the homeowner reimburses Revive when one of the following things happens. One, most common, the home sells. Then we're paid back through escrow. If that homeowner terminates their listing agreement with you, the money becomes due, kind of gives you more staying power as the listing agent. If that home is no longer actively being marketed for sale, the money is due. And lastly, if 12 months pass from the Revive completion date and the home hasn't sold, the money becomes due. A lot of people ask, well, how does Revive make money on this if there's no fees or interest? So Revive leverages our referral and buying power to ensure a competitive price for the homeowner while reserving a small profit for ourselves. Now, okay, so you know a little more about the process, and I hope you can see that this could be a very valuable tool for you if you make this part of your value proposition to your clients. Agents who incorporate Revive Concierge into their listing presentation and really add this as a value add for their clients, they're often actually able to charge more in commissions, or at least at the minimum, maintain your commissions in this competitive market. So I definitely encourage you to go to our online app. You can download our white papers, browse through before and after photos. It's a great place to also send clients who can look at before and after photos. There's a homeowner page if you want to explain it to them a little bit better. That is iloverevive.com. And then we make it really easy for you to get started on the website. And as Dalit mentioned, you're going to be getting an email with some of this material that is tailored towards your white label program, Refresh. So that is it for me. And
Renew, sorry.
Questions.
Our program's called Renew.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Renew, powered by Revive. Sorry, guys.
I just wanted to clarify for the agents that the 3 bids you're getting are your contractors, and we basically can't bring in an outside bidder, I'm assuming.
That's a good question, Robert. So, well, first off, thank you, Jessica, for doing that.
Thank you, Jessica.
So one of the things that we try to do, we want to keep it open and transparent. So we'll do one bid from our in-network, one out of the network, which is like a new service provider, and one that you can bid or the homeowner if you choose to decide. We don't want to create more work for you, but that keeps our service providers honest and transparent. And if there's a service provider that you think, is the bee's knees, man, we want to talk to them and let's get them on this project. So we do want to get a couple different bids. All are going to come in different pricing and all different start dates. And collectively together, we'll select the bid that makes the best sense. As you know, price isn't everything, so we'll kind of weigh those factors at that time.
I have a couple of questions. It's Tatiana.
Hey, Tatiana.
Hi. Is this program B2B, or can a consumer go directly to the website, since you guys are public on a website, to qualify? How is it exclusive to us? Simply because if we're trying to leverage our value proposition, if it's not exclusive to us, then we need to know our talk track when we're pitching,
Sure. I think it's a good question. This is not exclusive to you. You
Okay.
are right that, people can come to our website. Our mode of growth has been through, well, specifically like Keller Williams brokerages. So all across the coast, especially in California and pockets of Texas, we work with Keller Williams a lot. But I can't say that this is exclusive to you. Now, I do feel that from a marketing perspective and just kind of market share, you can outcompete. There are alternative options as well. Like, our belief system is that concierge is going to become one of the norm in the next couple years. If a brokerage doesn't have concierge today, they're at least discussing it or thinking about it in some fashion.
Sure.
So we're trying to stay ahead of that curve. but we feel that we spoke about one program today. We want to be a really robust concierge program. So right now we have 3 programs in totality. And so I feel like Revive's mission to kind of like be that is going to give you more tools in your arsenal that you can use.
Right. Well, that's helpful. Dilip, the reason I ask is because it's already a competitive business. And when we go in outside of our personal proposition and the value we bring individually from our experience, when we're offering another service as part of our tool belt, if, for example, I'm just trying to mitigate, conversations, if there's another agent from a different brokerage that's not Keller Williams, it would be nice to know who else has access to this product so we know how to dial up what we're talking about.
Sure. Good question. In your area, we don't work with any other brokerages that is within your area. So like Beverly Hills and Los Feliz, you guys are the first in that region that we're engaged with.
Keller Williams.
What about?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about like in Encino? Because a lot of us do, we sell in Encino and Bel Air and Sherman Oaks. So are there brokerages there it's offered to?
There's not. Valencia would be the nearest.
Yeah. Okay.
But there is. Jessica, I'm not forgetting anyone, right? Like that's a correct statement.
I believe that you're correct. I think Long Beach and Valencia are the closest.
Oh yeah, okay. Long Beach. Thank you for that. Yeah, between all the different cities, they kind of get jumbled up. But yes, but in those areas right now, it's just you guys, and that's why I commend like the leadership for thinking ahead. Like this, I think this is going to be a game changer in the way you speak to it. And
Dilip, to Tatiana's point, if that changes, please, make sure, I'm well informed on that.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to do so. No problem.
One more question though, because I need to know this. Obviously, you're a business, so your small profit, when we are talking to our clients, and that's being posed to them as a pass-through cost, where are you making your profit from?
We are making our profit from the service provider, generally in the area in the 15%. And so, yeah.
So it's coming back to you through your subs.
So yeah, so the way that we go, so we only work with like a handful of service providers generally. So if a service provider we work with, we're going to give them, a level of like continuous business every month, but we mandate their pricing. We're like, this is the way we work. This is how you have to price. Like we know this type of flooring per square feet, you can't charge more than this. And so, we're trying to get that wholesale rate, but like this is not going to be any cheaper than if like your client went and bid it out themselves at the retail rate. So this is the generic like retail price. Now that delta between the two like is where our profit comes from.
Okay. Important to know simply because a lot of the other concierge programs have finance charges that take effect once the client has to pay back. And that's been a big deterrent for my clients, because it's like they have to get credit and they have to process a application. So in your case, it's just you guys are evaluating based off of equity in the house and holding a deed.
Exactly. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. This is based on equity, which means there's no credit checks, there's no third-party lenders. But even we're vertically funded as a company, so we're not like sending them off to another like finance third party for them to get the funds from. So with that, there's no interest, there's no fees, and we allow up to 12 months to sell the home.
Okay, that helps because that's been a concern for my clients in the past year when I've proposed our previous program.
Yeah, and you're not alone, Tatiana, so I appreciate your questions. And that's one of the reasons we've brought these guys to the table, and we've done quite a bit of vetting around that because, the transparency piece is absolutely critical for you guys, clients, for all of that. So
absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
So if someone had a low FICO, it's irrelevant, just so long as they have equity of 20% or more and they have title on the property. So if someone was foreclosing in 60 days, 6 months, is that one that you would throw out?
So I would say, so you're right that there's no FICO, it's irrelevant. If they are foreclosing, depending on the days, it's not as easy of a layup, but definitely inquire about it. We're still kind of creating our guidelines sort of around, foreclosures, but in many cases it could be very helpful for them. So I would definitely say like get in touch with us. We'll have a conversation with you
I had one of these. It sold before the guys even did the remodel on it because of this marketplace. But someone like you guys could have stepped in and said, hey, look, we'll get involved with you. And then a secondary question is, since you guys are basically available to anyone, can we work together and say that we have Keller Williams priority or like a VIP, so that if someone tries to say, well, we can go there directly. Well, when you're with Keller Williams, you get a priority, you get extra whatever.
100%. Maybe you can circle back to us, like how, because I thought about it too, and Robert beat me to the punch. Like, how do we make this a little bit more exclusive for us within our area? Because I think that would definitely enhance the value proposition and in essence, the pitch to our clients.
So I think there's about 2 different ways that you can approach this. The first one is, so John isn't on the call, but he is your guys' point of contact for your entire team. So you all will be communicating with John and interacting with him. In fact, I feel he's already done about 2 or 3, either he's done or in the progress of transactions with agents on your team. And so you're gonna have that intimate relationship where priority, a dedicated contact person by text, by call is there. The other benefit isn't necessarily for the homeowner itself, but it's you as a realtor. So if an agent came from outside to Revive, there's a lot of value that we do here in the sense that, we create a renovation plan. Like we spend time to sort of assess what renovations make sense, assess the local neighborhood. And in many cases, agents use that renovation plan to close a listing. So they do indoctor a $250 transaction fee because that's some time that's spent on our side. But as a brokerage, those fees are waived. So you guys are automatically flagged in to not have those transaction fees. So that's not a homeowner benefit, that's your guys' benefit because we have an intimate relationship with your team that's kind of waived. Other than those 2, I think those are the 2 main points that I would highlight when it comes to sort of, our dynamic between our team and yours.
And Robert, I'll dig deeper with John. I don't mean to step over Dalip and see what, maybe we can do to enhance that perhaps or not, so.
I think the majority of people don't know they're public with the exception of a few, but if it popped up, it would be nice to have that in that rare moment. The other thought and question I have is basically, if you did get a subcontractor from one of the contractors that does bad work and there's a lawsuit, what kind of protection is there?
That's a really good question. I'm glad you brought that up. So in all our engagements with your brokerage and as you as a realtor and with the homeowner and the service provider, there are several clauses that say that you guys are not liable. And that's really why we say KW Renew powered by Revive. Your brokerage, you as a realtor, your team, you're not liable. And so, yeah, that's in all the agreements and made very clear for the homeowner.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So I don't know if I missed the beginning process of a home being qualified would be basically online. You guys do not do visits to homes.
Yeah, that's a really good question as well. So the first thing an agent, like when they get in touch, they're like, send somebody out, let's get an estimate. Our process is a little bit more detailed. So it is remote. You go online, you submit the property details, you speak to the expert, which is John in this case. And then you 2 are both just gonna sort of like, jam on the project and talk about like what renovations make sense, what's the local neighborhood like, speak about comms, and have a 30-45-minute strategy session. And out of that would be the renovation plan. That renovation plan is going to actually include estimates on what these things should cost. So then we can have a sort of like soft approval of your homeowner, like they're like, ACES, this plan looks good. At that point, when we're actually soliciting bids from the service providers, those service providers will go out. Or, which worked really well in the last 6 months, is sending out someone for just a Matterport. We send that to a service provider and we get estimates just like that from them. And that's made it more COVID friendly, of course, and made things a little bit easier.
I have a question. You guys do landscaping stuff too? If someone needs like a whole new front yard to make the better curb appeal?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Landscaping is definitely included. One of the things important is that there's no minimums and maximums. I do encourage anyone to go to our website and visit some of the case studies. You'll see projects that were just like painting and flooring, the basic TLC to get a market live or get a house live. But you're also going to see a lot of like bigger renovations, like north of $250,000, $300,000 projects where there's, interior, exterior, new kitchen remodel, bathrooms. Just really depends on what that needs to maximize the value.
So you guys have a bunch of professionals on deck. You're not just the general contractor.
Yeah. So we're not the general contractor. We have about 6 different service providers in the LA region that we kind of work with. And we really try to stick to that, to a small group of people. Now, we don't try to like work with like, several tradesmen like on a set project. We generally work with one renovation like company, a general contractor that can handle all the services.
Hence the different bids. Okay. My other question was, I don't know if you know, but I know Compass has a program that's very similar to this. What's the what's so different? What makes you guys stand out? What would make us stand out from Compass?
They have the finance charges. They have, that's the difference.
Okay, thank you.
There's a lot.
One of the biggest ones, there's one of the biggest ones is that they have that in there. It's like you're applying for a loan. That's what I was asking. This is a great way to pitch this out because it's not costing anything to the client.
Yeah,
Perfect.
the
Thank you.
terms of financing is just completely different and more flexible. Also, like the way that they treat their service, we pair our service providers within 24 or 48 hours. There's a lot of complaints of their service providers having like net 60, net 90 days, subpar quality. So like we're really trying to make wins here for the service providers and give them that continuous business. Overall, I would say it's a very robust. We have a couple Compass agents here in Orange County, the Laguna Beach area that choose Revive. And there's also, in some cases, like they're not going to approve a $200,000 job if that's needed, and that can very much be needed in Beverly Hills. So, we don't have any maximums, and I think that's a big differentiator by itself.
Let me just have Gary speak for just a moment. Gary Watt, who actually used to be at Compass and has quite a bit of experience in these programs and has been working closely with me over the last several months with this. Gary, like, what would you highlight as to what differentiates Revive?
When I was at Compass, I had the concierge service, and several of my clients actually used it. But what they actually really used it for was just to get money. Back then, when they started the program, they can get pretty much 5% of the equity of their house. So my clients would borrow $100,000, and they would just give them the money. But the hard part was, or have like a little credit card that they can use, or a debit card they can use to subtract from. But my clients would still have to, they would have to find their own service providers a lot of times. And that was really difficult for them. What I've noticed about Revive's team is that they're very involved, they basically lead you through the whole process. They're there wanting to collaborate with you. John and Dilip, you guys are doing a really good job. And just, their website is so robust and so easy to use. You guys should go on there. It's iloverevive.com. If you can type it in the chat box for people to see, I think that'd be really great. And I'm making postcards about it. I'm doing videos about it. And I'm asking if I could use their collateral and everything. And they're like, yeah, we have the white paper, just use our material. And I think it's a really good connecting thing that we can actually use. So the difference, I think the biggest difference is that you have the full backing of their company going through that. Whereas Compass, I found that it was more like, here's the money, you can do it yourself sort of thing. So that's the big difference. But their team is really great so far that I've been working with them.
Yeah, I
really
really
make one other point, Dilip, and then I want to be sensitive to the timing. And I know I got you guys started way late, but I also think that the no loss guarantee piece is a really interesting one. So maybe just elaborate on that one more time. I think people just, and you guys, you're not going to get it all right now. This is just a quick intro, and we're going to delve a lot deeper. So don't feel like this is it, and they're going to be back regularly, and we're going to be doing this because it is about educating you guys and then giving you marketing collateral that you can really be confident in presenting this effectively.
Yeah, so I really glad you brought that up. The no loss guarantee, in my opinion, is a game changer.
Yep.
And so in a nutshell, it is exactly what it sounds like. So what we noticed is that we all understand the basic renovations, that something needs to happen in order for this home to go to market. But there's certain high impact items that, you know, a typical flipper that, you know, sees things would drive up the scope quite a bit. And for homeowners, that's a hard thing for them to swallow. They, you know, they're not a typical flipper, you know, there's some hesitation. So we came up with this idea that, look, well, whatever renovations, like let's say the renovations were $100,000, we guarantee that you'll see that money back. And if you don't, it's on our dime. It's not on you. But there is, in order for them to qualify for that, then we're gonna say anything above that, we're also gonna receive 25% of the upside. So it's up to you, you know, you can say, hey, you can keep 100% of the upside and, you know, then not be guaranteed and do the renovations and let's stick to this renovation plan. But in some cases, you know, they're going, I want that comfort, I want that security, and that's fine. And that's where we kind of share on the reward. So that's how that works. There is some limitations because it's a new product that we've released in the last like 4 or 5 months, where, you know, we're still creating guidelines around which homes qualify and which homes don't. So that's why we said, see if your home qualifies. We're generally looking for homes, like neighborhoods that sell within 60 to 90 days. If that neighborhood doesn't sell for, you know, along like average time on market, then we don't want to be, you know, it just may be a little bit different. So we're still creating guidelines around that. So more information to come around it, but definitely worth mentioning to your client and worth us having a conversation about it.
Is this program linked to our app, and is it on the, and also linked through Command as well?
So Command is
Not
at
yet.
Keller Williams corporate, right?
I'm sorry.
That's Keller Williams corporate.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yes, yeah.
So
Not yet. It's a great question,
yet.
Cindy. We can work on that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
They are
you.
working on, they're working on linking it to the website. I think that's what Justin was talking about, is linking
Yeah.
all the resources to the website so you could direct them to, you know, KW Renew as well. I also made a video on my YouTube channel. I'm trying to build up the YouTube channel. I put it in the chat if you guys want to take a look at it. It's unlisted right now because I'm testing out with several potential sellers and just telling them, hey, does this make sense? What do you think about this? And so they'll click on the link and watch it, and it becomes just a really great marketing piece to just say, you know, if you guys haven't started a YouTube channel, I think it's a really great way to connect with clients. And it's never too late to start. It's you might not be good at it. I'm not that great at it. I'd love for to get your comments on it also, but I think it becomes a really great marketing tool where I put the video link on the website that's on the mailer that I send. So if they want more interaction, it's not just a static piece of postcard. So take a look at the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share, you know, really love to see and try to grow my YouTube channel. My goal is to reach 500 by this first quarter. So I really appreciate it in advance.
Please share, Gary.
Yeah,
Definitely
I
share.
just linked it in the chat box if you want to click on there. And then there's a lot of videos where I'm just going through home buyers' journeys, getting interviews from the buyers and, you know, and the sellers as well, what their experience was as well. And I think that's a really great kind of tool for your future sellers, your current buyers, and just really educating them through without having to do it again and again and again. That's what I'm doing it for. I don't want to explain this process to my buyers 20, 30, 50 times. You know, I just watch the videos first, you know, and then let's talk about if you have any questions. Makes it much easier, time saver for me in general. So yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me or find me on Instagram, Facebook, you know, everything like that. And we can
Can you
connect.
please put your contact information in the chat?
Will do.
You're awesome, Gary. Thank you. Gary's definitely an innovator.
Gary, a quick question for you. When you hear Compass and Concierge, is there a jugular you go for? Is there something obvious that you see as an obvious weakness? Because a seller hears all this and they don't see these minute differences. They just see, I'm going to get staged, it's going to be free. That's what they hear.
I think that when I hear for Compass, I'm like, here's money that's interest-free, fee-free, you know, that's what they hear and that's what they like about it. With this program, I think it's a start to finish. I think they have like one, even for a lot of your programs, it just makes it makes the selling process and buying process so much easier. And that's why I really feel that it's a really innovative product where as part of Revive's business model, I think is amazing also, you know, because they're making money. If I can lend them 100,000 and get 15% back, I'm sure that everybody would be throwing money into their venture capital, you know, and that's how they make their money, you know. And I think that it's a good model that they have, and they can continue to grow that way. But I don't know if there's anything different from.
If I can add a little bit to that, if you don't mind, Gary.
Go for it.
I think Robert, it's really for us. So this year, when we launched in January last year, we pivoted several times because we're trying to solve every personality that's in this transaction. Like, we've really focused on like the service provider and making them a win. So like, for example, like we only work with a few so we can mandate their pricing. So now your client's receiving preferred pricing, which is a big difference as well. The terms is completely different, which I think is more robust. It is not a do-it-yourself. You're gonna have an expert, someone that you get to work with that's gonna help solicit bids, make sure the service provider goes on time. Like this isn't, we're not trying to create more work on you. In some cases, like when it's do-it-yourself, the common thing is like, let me find a flooring guy, a plumbing guy, and a painter. And this, now you become your own project manager. And we realized that really early on. So we kind of said, you know what, we don't work with that. We work with, if it's 2 or more trades where we sort of need a general contractor, so the realtor doesn't become a project manager and the general contractor can be responsible for it. So all these different elements, it just has created a much better experience, I feel, all around. And so a lot of people gravitate towards the money being the most valuable. In my opinion, there is definitely value in the money, but I believe the way we've designed this program for everyone, it's more seamless and it's truly a partner for the realtor.
Well said. All right, guys, in the interest of time, I appreciate everyone's patience. Thank you guys for presenting. I hope this was valuable. And again, this is the first step in an ongoing process, and stay tuned for next steps, which will be very, very shortly, because I really believe in this being a great value proposition on so many different levels. And again, it's an educational process, and we want to make sure you're given the tools and the resources and the knowledge to deliver it and use it effectively. So again, thanks to everyone. Thank you all for the first team meeting of what's going to be an absolutely phenomenal year. Plug in, engage, participate, and let's make it happen. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Have an amazing day, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Great.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, let me know if you guys have any more questions. Love to help.